All right, so what I have here is the brain. It's the brain of a sheep, okay? And like I said earlier, the connective tissue covering the brain is called meninges. And these meninges has three layers, okay? Among the three layers, the outermost one is called dura, okay? And the middle one is called arachnoid, and the innermost one that wraps the brain tightly is called pia mater. Now, to remove the meninges, you have to use the scissors, okay, and then try to cut it out, okay. As you cut it out, you want to be careful, okay, because there are some other parts of the brain you don't want to cut out accidentally, because you want to talk about that part. So what I'm doing is I'm removing the dura, okay. That was that. Now I'm going to remove as much as I can. I'm going around some structures which I really want to talk about later. Okay, those things I'm going to explain, talk about later. Okay, for now I'm removing the dura. Okay, what's that?
How does that get replaced?
So now,
I could be wrong, but
if this is the dura, this is the dura from the outside. You want to see that? The inner part, you know, see that it has its thread-like structures attached to the pia. That area is the arachnoid. Okay, okay. Arachnoid is the middle layer, so the middle layer is kind of like inside. Okay, but the outer part is dura. Now I'm going to do the same on the other part of the cerebral hemisphere. I'm going to do this too. Cut it, and I'm going to try to peel it off. Okay. Okay, to speed up what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to take my own time. Now, I'm doing this, I'm being careful because, like I said, I don't accidentally cut off some parts which I want to explain to you guys. So now I've removed the dura, the meningeal part that is covering the cerebral hemisphere. I have to do the same with the cerebellum part also. So I'm removing this one to expose the cerebellum. Now, when it comes to between the cerebellum and the cerebrum, you want to use the tip of the scissors and go more deep because there's a depression there. And when you do that, you have to be careful, and then it allows you to take out as much of the meninges. You see that? Now, I have removed two of the meninges. There's still one still left behind. So one that is left behind, as you can see the brain, it looks more kind of slippery. You see that? Because the innermost layer is still there. And one way which I usually show students to use this probe, and I'm going to poke. See that? See that? So there's still another one wrapped around the brain tightly. Okay. Now, the one that wraps around the brain tightly, that one also is believed to be the one where that has the blood vessels are also connected to it that feeds the surface of the, supplies blood to the surface of the cerebral cortex of the cerebrum. So you see all these dark things you see here? You see all these colorful, these dark structures? All these are blood vessels that have clotted. You want to see that? All these are clotted blood vessels. All these are clotted blood vessels. When blood becomes old, they become what? Chocolate color, dark chocolate color. So all these are clotted blood. You see that? Clotted blood, clotted blood, clotted blood. Okay, you see it? All right. So again, there is another layer, like I said. So I'm not going to see that. See what I'm doing? See that? Without even touching the brain itself. See that? That's a layer there. So this is called a pia mater. You see that? It's believed to be the layer of the meninges that nourishes the brain surface. When they say layer of the meninges that nourishes the brain surface, they're talking about pia mater. In the case of meningitis, okay, pia mater is involved and arachnoid mater is involved. Dura mater is not involved in meningitis. What is meningitis again?
Inflammation of the meninges.
Inflammation of the meninges. So doing inflammation of the meninges, dura is not involved. The only ones involved are pia and arachnoid. And the significance of this, we're going to talk about it next week, because you're going to find out in the arachnoid, below it is a space that we have cerebrospinal fluid. And that cerebrospinal fluid is on top of what? On top of what? The pear. Okay. So between the pear and the arachnoid matter, this space has fluid that rubs on top of the pear matter, and that fluid is called cerebrospinal fluid. So if that fluid is wherever is causing the meningitis, that of course it's also going to be affecting pear. Got it? So doing meningitis, pear and arachnoid are the only two layers involved in meningitis. Okay. Now, having said that, I would like to draw your attention to the last page of your book, the lab book, where they have structures they want you to identify. You want to see that? This. Structures they want you to identify. You're going to see where they say ventral structures, dorsal structures, and internal structures. Everyone see it?
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to the ventral, they want you to identify structures in this region of the brain. You see it? So when they say ventral, you have to keep it this way. Okay, so ventral, ventral, ventral. You see it? So ventral, ventral. When it comes to the ventral, they want you to identify these structures. They want to identify this. So these two structures which I'm touching here, you see it? Okay. This is called olfactory bulb, olfactory bulb. You see it? From this bulb is where your cranial nerve number 1 comes out from. The cranial nerve number 1, we're going to be talking about next week, is a nerve responsible for what? Smell. Okay. Now, if I go below the olfactory bulb, I'm going to run into two structures here. You see the two structures, this and this. Okay. We call them the optic what? Nerves. Okay. So as they protrude out or extend out, they attach to the back of your eyes.
Oh, those things here?
Yeah, these structures. Okay. We call them olfactory. This olfactory. This optic nerve. This optic nerve. You see that? So optic is for vision. Olfactory is for smell. So olfactory comes out from your olfactory bulb, but when it comes to the optic nerve that allows us to see, that's from these two branches. So these two branches are attached to the back of the eyes. So this is attached to the left side of your eye. This is attached to the right side of your eye. Okay. The attachment area of the eye I'm going to be talking about next week, or someone's going to be talking about it next week. It's called optic disc. What's that? So as it protrude out, they attach to the back of the eyes. Okay. Now, another structure they want to identify is where the optic nerves meet in the middle, right here. You see it? We call it optic chiasm. What's that? Optic chiasm. We have both optic nerves meet in the middle. In that region, we have tracts that tends across there. Tracts that crosses there, they all go through the brain and then innervates at the back of the cerebral lobe called occipital lobe. Okay, so we have tracts that cross here. Some of them cross, some of them do not cross. So there are a bunch of tracts, okay, running through this optic chiasm. Okay, so just like I'm seeing you, wherever is the light, wherever image I'm seeing, have to pass through this. Once it gets reflected on the retina, okay, it passes through the optic disc and enters the optic nerve. The optic nerve have to send to your brain for interpretation of where I'm looking or where I'm seeing, and the interpretation happens in the back of the cerebrum, known as occipital lobe. We're going to talk about that next week when we do brain. Okay. Remember, occipital lobe is one of four lobes of the brain you can see from the outside. Okay.
But there's really 5.
But there are really what? 5 lobes. Okay. Or one of four lobes which you can see from the outside is called occipital. Alright, that's why you don't want someone to stand behind you or hit you in the back of the head, no, because they hit you, they might interrupt your vision. Lights out. We don't want that. All right. If I go below the optic chiasm, there's another part they want to identify. There is this area in the middle, right? Yes, we have the probe center pointing. You see that? It's a gland. Okay. It's called pituitary gland. You see that? Pituitary gland is an endocrine gland. Okay. I want to talk about it in week 7. But it's a gland that secretes a lot of hormones in our body for us. Okay. Among the hormones are growth hormones, your gonadotropin hormones, which are your hormones secreted by your gonads, hormones that stimulate your gonads. Okay. All right. So like LH, FSH. Okay. They come out from pituitary. Okay.